What we're supposed to do again? Snips asked. Hide, I think. Just as they finished talking, a huge shadow was cast over them. Suddenly, blue magic had gripped them, making them levitate. Luna dropped out of the sky, landing beside them. "Ah, you caught us!" Snips complained. The three fillies and colt watched from the safety of their tree. They laughed a little, and then went silent and continued to watch. Luna smiled, her horn began to glow brighter. Suddenly, Snips and Snails began to shrink until they were 4 inches tall. The two colts screamed in panic. "PR Princess, please let us go, this is too scary." Snails pleaded, but Luna ignored them. She levitated the two close to her muzzle, and then opened her mouth, revealing lines and webs of saliva. Luna placed the two colts in her mouth and closed her maw gently. She kept them in her mouth for a moment, and then swallowed, showing a lump that traveled down her neck and vanished into her rib cage. She gave small hiccup. The feeling of the pair of colts traveling down her throat was quite enticing. She smiled a bit as felt the struggling in her stomach, which really only caused the night princess a pleasant sensation. She smirked and went to find the other foals. Princess Luna unfolded her wings and took off into the air, vanishing in the night, not knowing that there were 3 foals who had been shocked by what they had seen. The foals began to whimper and cry with a question buzzing through their heads. How could Princess Luna do this? Scootaloo was now shaking with nervous sweat along with Sweetie Belle. Both Pipsqueak and Apple Bloom's faces turned red and then their eyes started to water and tear up. "So she are really those gobble-up ponies?" Pip sobbed. Sweetie Belle swallowed, her voice shaking, like she wasn't very confident in what she said. Let's not jump to conclusions, guys." "What? What are talking about? Did you not just see what happened to poor Snips and Snails?" Scootaloo roared at the white unicorn with tear-soaked anger eyes. "Gee guys, please don't shout." Pipsqueak whispered in a shaking tone. Apple Bloom and Pip held on to one another in what looked like a tight hug. Sweetie Belle swallowed. "I'm just saying it may not be what it seems like. This could just be a nightmare night trick." "That didn't seem like a trick to me." Apple Bloom spoke on soft tone, still worried if the night princess was lurking nearby. "Maybe we should go tell Twilight." Scootaloo paused. She started to shiver when the sound of flapping wings could be heard outside the old tree. "Ee!" Sweetie Belle yipped, holding her hooves to her mouth. The fillies and colt huddled together, shaking in fear and trying to stay silent. All they could hear was the sound of crickets chirping and owls hooting. The 4 of them were paralyzed with fear, the slightest sounds out of the ordinary making them jump. Pip was starting to shake and sob. The little colt began to turn bright red till tears were flooding his eyes and he started to cry. "Pip, you gotta be quiet." Apple Bloom held Pipsqueak close to her. The little colt started crying into her shoulder in hopes his cry would not alert the night predator they were hiding from. I am sorry, Apple Bloom." Pipsqueak sniffed. Pip had managed to control his loud emotions and the night grew silent again. Scootaloo managed to sneak a peek from her cover, looking for any sign of Luna and finding none. "Maybe we should try making a run for it," Pipsqueak whispered. Scootaloo shrugged in confusion. "I dunno, maybe. We should at least try, it's better than waiting for Luna to gobble us up." Sweetie Belle poked her head out of the tree, not seeing any pony. Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle slowly walked out from the tree. "It's all clear," Apple Bloom whispered to Pipsqueak and Scootaloo. The two nodded, slowly exiting the hollow tree and joining their friends out in the open. "Does any pony know how to get out?" Pipsqueak asked. "Yeah, don't worry, we know our way around here." Apple Bloom patted his back, hoping to keep the little colt calm. Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo were leading the way while Apple Bloom and Pip took up the rear. "This has got to be pretty hard for Pip," Scootaloo whispered. Yeah, wasn't Luna his favorite princess? Sweetie Belle looked back to a sad-looking Pip with Apple Bloom staying by his side, obviously trying to cheer him up or at least trying to console him. Poor kid. Scootaloo slowly shook head left and right. The four did their best to move quietly towards a more safe location. Well, it seems I've found you. The foals jumped and turned to see Princess Luna floating above them. She giggled at them, showing her bright, white-fanged smile. PR Princess. Pip Squeak whimpered. Quick, run for it. The four foals began to run as fast as their tiny legs could make them. They dodged upcoming trees in the way, the hooves clopping against the ground loudly. It was already too late for them, though. Princess Luna could easily catch up with them at this point. The four foals continued to keep running in hopes of losing the princess. Scootaloo came to sudden halt, making the others stop right behind her. What's wrong? Apple Bloom peeked over the Pegasus to see an old bridge that was covered in mold and moss. The wood was wet and chipping off, the rope looked dried. Any sudden vibration would make it snap. I don't think we should cross this. Sweetie Belle nervously gulped. The sound of heavy flapping wings made the foals jump. We have to. Apple Bloom said nervously. Taking her first step on the bridge, it made a crackling sound. Apple Bloom carefully took a few more steps. Come on. Scootaloo, Pip and Sweetie Belle slowly followed the earth pony filly. The sounds coming from Old Bridge began to get louder and louder with each step they took. The sound of flapping wings made them sweat as they saw Luna flying out from the forest just floating above them. It's Nightmare Moon! Sweetie shouted. The foals began to panic, they started to pick up speed making the bridge shake. Nay children, wait! Princess Luna shouted, sounding concern for them. The four didn't seem to pay heed to her cry of concern, more concerned about preserving themselves. Scootaloo panicked, trying to speed up her crossing. The bridge started to rapidly shake, the sudden sounds of snapping rope rang in the foals' ears as they panicked their way to the opposite end from the bridge. Apple Bloom and Pip Squeak made a leap, making it safely to the other side. Hurry! Hurry! Apple Bloom shouted. Scootaloo flapped her small wings in panic. Her hooves clopped over breaking planks as she dashed with whatever speed she had at hand, knocking Pip and Apple Bloom aside, leaving only Sweetie on the bridge. Sweetie stumbled, trying to keep her footing and run at the same time. Hurry, Sweetie Belle! The three foals yelled for their friend. The last few ropes on the left side snapped. Ah! Sweetie Belle screamed for her life as the bridge tilted down, making the little unicorn lose her balance and fall. Sweetie Belle! Her friends shouted as they watched her falling to her death. Ah! Sweetie screamed as she flipped through the air, tears floating out from her crying eyes. Suddenly, to all their surprise, Princess Luna dashed down, flying under Sweetie Belle and catching the filly in her arms, then placing her on her back, making them all gasp. The four felt a collective relief that Sweetie Belle was safe, then a collective fear that Luna would surely swallow her as well. Sweetie Belle held on to the alicorn's neck, shaking in fear of what her savior might do to her, and to the white unicorn's surprise, Luna flapped her wings, floating up to the side where her friends were. She stopped and remained flying just inches away from the frightened foals who watched in fear of their princess. Luna's horn glowed light blue. Sweetie Belle was then levitated off Luna's back, placed with her friends who rushed to her side, hugging her tight. I'm so glad you're okay, Apple Bloom sobbed into Sweetie's shoulder. If it wasn't for me, the bridge wouldn't have. Scootaloo cried, hugging Sweetie. The white filly pushed her friends off so she could breathe. Guys, it's all right. If it wasn't for Luna. They all suddenly stopped with their eyes wide and mouths hanging open. Luna. The three fillies looked over to see Pip Squeak watching Luna fly to the other side of bridge. Well, you four better get moving if you don't want me to catch you. As the foals ran, Scoodaloo.